taste of bite-sized Ritz Bits and real peanut butter have come together in tiny Ritz Bits peanut butter sandwiches with no assembly required.
I got just two things to say about this cereal. Boring. It's too simple. These days you gotta add oats or straw and hay or something. This is nothing but flakes. All right, the taste is good. I'm kind of shocked that something this simple tastes this good. You know, I think your simplicity angle will work after all. This cereal might just make it.
Kellogg's Cornflakes.
Cornflakes? Hey, can I pick a winner or what?
Taste them again for the first time.
Poor Laura. Her cold medicine made her drowsy. If only she could go back and take Sudafed instead. Fast-acting Sudafed. You don't get drowsy, you get relief.
In Paris, they lined up in the streets. In Rome, it was standing room only. In L.A. and New York, his concerts sold out in an hour. So if you want to see Paul McCartney and his new band, get in line early and get out your Visa card. Because a concert like this doesn't take place every day, and it doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
There are rent-a-car companies better known than Enterprise, but none that know their customers better.
For the windshield wipers.
Call us. We'll come pick you up.
All right, we'll be there in 15 minutes.
Drop the car off, we'll drop you home. Because at Enterprise, we don't just care about the distance our cars go.
May I help you? Thank you.
But the distance our people go. Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We go the extra distance.
The Color Purple will continue.
He's a man's man.
I don't know what that means.
In a woman's world.
Understand we need a brassiere.
Gerald McCraney.
What a mom.
In an all-new Made to Dad. Then, it's a miracle at City Hall.
Look, in the paper clip, it's the image of the Blessed Virgin.
How did the word get around so fast?
Beepers.
Valerie Harper in an all-new City after Made to Dad Monday.
There's a serial killer in paradise.
Another call girl shooting.
And Dr. Kalani is caught in the crossfire.
We could use your help.
Drawn into a world of sex and murder.
It's too dangerous. They say you won't stop.
Racing to find the killer. This is CBS.
And now from the Eyewitness Newsroom.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Doug Murphy. Coming up tonight, right after the movie, the CHP warning drivers to stay out of the Sierra after a massive mudslide closed down Interstate 80. And the bitter cold snap has brought some treacherous driving conditions to the Bay Area. We'll have an update on road closures and restrictions. Now this.
Save on everything you need through tomorrow only. The store-wide 2-day President's Sale at Macy's. We're a part of your life.
You're watching Danny Glover in The Color Purple. A little bit later, you'll see him reach out to some kids who are in trouble right here in the Bay Area. That's coming up tonight on Nightcast after the movie.
You can spend your day like this, or you can spend it like this in a Mazda 626. Get one now and you'll also get $1,000 cash back. 626 has more room than Honda Accord, a better basic warranty, yet it's already priced less. So to get your new Mazda and $1,000 cash back, get moving on a 626. At your Northern California Mazda dealer now.
Your fond memories being used to sell Monday at 11.
What do you think Mom's going to do when we show up?
Hopefully she'll feed us.
Good to see you, you know? It's been too long.
One day it could all come down to a few inches. For those few inches, it's good to know you have Goodyear tires.
I guess they're home. I miss you.
That's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
You know how a great cut can give you a whole new feeling about yourself? That is nothing compared to what the right color can do. Here it is, nice and easy. Pick a shade that's a little lighter, a little darker, whatever. Shampoo it in and wow. It's you, only better. You're gonna be walking around, tossing that head of yours and loving the way it feels. Nice and easy. Give it a shot.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
Now this has the odor-absorbing power of this. New Stayfree. Now with odor-absorbing baking soda inside every pad. It's protection like nothing else.
Isn't it kind of a weird idea?
No, it absorbs odors, doesn't it?
No, I know.
I think it makes perfect sense.
New Stayfree. Now with odor-absorbing baking soda inside every pad. It's protection like nothing else.
Victoria Principal is a city mayor with a murderer on the loose.
You've got to do something right away before another woman's murdered.
He's a federal agent, determined to protect her.
These 3 victims didn't fight?
They were dead when he tied them up.
From the madman who's now chosen his next victim.
You're going to pay for this.
Sparks, The Price of Passion, a world premiere next Sunday. This is CBS.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free, Toyota.
Toyota's new 4-wheel drive, 4-door 4Runner for $19.90. Space, luxury, and V6 power. Where you go is your concern. Getting you back is ours.
Gerber presents the first peach your baby will ever eat. A 100% natural baby food so smooth, it's just for starters. First Foods fruits and vegetables, made extra smooth for the first few weeks of eating vegetables and fruits. No artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. No added salt or sugar. No modified food starch. It's pure and simple. First Foods fruits and vegetables are smooth, natural, and of course, from Gerber.
Danny Glover, tonight after the movie.
General Foods International Coffees introduces the Variety Sampler.
Do I try Cafe Vienna and then Swiss Mocha? Or start with Cafe Francais?
Such delicious confusion.
It's double Dutch chocolate, I think.
Sun-ripened raisins, Nestle milk chocolate. That's as good as it gets. I want to catch some raisins. Catch some Raisinets. Catch some Raisinets. Oh, yeah.
How would you describe McDonald's Big Mac and Egg McMuffin?
One of a kind.
Egg McMuffin is.
I'm here to say
I would start my day in it.
Of the way. One of a kind. Big Mac is.
Every bite suits my appetite.
Oh, it tastes just right. Makes a hungry man walk to make a day's.
Makes a full man talk about eating again.
Big Mac and Egg McMuffin are
One of a kind.
Discover what millions of women throughout the world have found in Niosome Daytime Skin Treatment from Lancôme, Paris. Niosome, the daytime skincare system that makes your skin look and feel softer and smoother. Microspheres that target the skin surface layers.
With Niosome, you will see and feel a younger-looking skin. Niosome Daytime Skin Treatment. Lancôme, Paris.
La Petite Étoile en Blanc, your gift with any $15 Lancôme purchase. Experience the beauty. I. Magnin.
We're opening the doors to 2 hot new clubs. Introducing McDonald's McChicken Club with tender all-white meat and Quarter Pounder Club with lean, juicy beef. Both with hickory smoked bacon, cool lettuce, red ripe tomato, and mayo. Stacked up on a sesame seed bun, club style. So go out for the hot new taste of McChicken Club. Out now for a sizzling Quarter Pounder Club. But shake it. Before long, the hottest clubs in town will be gone.
This is CBS.
Nightcast is next. Tonight, a massive mudslide has closed Interstate 80 in the Sierra. The police now are even warning drivers to stay home, even after that highway reopens. Plus, treacherous driving conditions have been created by icy weather right here in the Bay Area.
Also tonight, 4 people are hurt in the emergency evacuation of a jet at L.A. Airport. An historic win for a Bay Area basketball team in Southern California. And one of the stars of The Color Purple plays a real-life role on Nightcast. Getting to know.
In the 80s, Honda became known for its reliable, feature-filled cars.
You ready, Dad?
I love this car.
But today, the 90s begin with the new Geo Prism. The quality sedan with 16-valve performance, Prism is designed for years of carefree driving, with more of the features and little extras that make life easier. So you know you'll be friends for a long time. Get to know the new Geo Prism at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Getting to know you.
It happens Monday at Emporium. We're kicking off President's Day with 3-hour specials from 9 a.m. till noon throughout our stores. For 3 hours only, Emporium has a historic lineup of store-wide savings just for you. Lincoln and Washington had the right idea, so we're celebrating with something for everyone. Honest values and all-American savings store-wide. Starting at 9 a.m. on Monday, shop Emporium for 3 hours of President's Day specials you'll have to see to believe. Honest.
Cozy up with the Cause, now weekdays at 11:30 on 5.
Doug Murphy, Barbara Rogers, Joe Fonzie, and Roland Galvan. This is KPIX Eyewitness News Nightcast.
And good evening, everybody. Here's what's happening on this Sunday night. More trouble in the Sierra. Tonight, Caltrans workers are struggling to clear tons of dirt from Interstate 80. A huge mudslide buried a section of the highway early this morning, blocking the Bay Area's main link up to the Sierra. Workers have spent the day scooping up piles of mud from the interstate. Caltrans says that a leak in a PG aqueduct above the roadway may have caused that slide. Roadblocks were kept up to keep the skiers from reaching the slopes today. Caltrans has now reopened one east lane. They hope to have a westbound lane open by midnight. But the CHP warning all the holiday travelers that the highway is still dangerous.
As you see this water, we're concerned tonight with the freezing, the ice. So if you're coming up later this evening, make sure that they watch for what we call black ice up here. They're not surprised with it. And just drive slow.
Nevada police are still warning people to stay home even after Interstate 80 is reopened. More than 2 feet of snow fell in the mountains this weekend, and chains are required on all roads in the Lake Tahoe area.
The weekend storm left icy temperatures and unusual winter weather here in the Bay Area as well. At least 2 inches of snow fell overnight in the Santa Cruz Mountains, forcing the closure of 2 key highways. This morning, Highway 17 was shut down for 3 hours, causing a major traffic jam. Elsewhere in the highways are reopened tonight. In Marin County, park rangers closed roadways leading to the peak of Mount Tamalpais. Overnight snow flurries and cold winds made road conditions icy and slippery. By late morning, though, rangers reopened the roads, allowing Bay Area nature lovers to see what was left of the snowfall.
The East Bay has had its share of cold and wet weather since the weekend storm. Now, more than a foot of snow has fallen on Mount Diablo. As Tomas Ramon reports, it is the most snow anybody can remember on the mountain.
This scene could be Tahoe or somewhere in the Sierra, but it's not. It's Mount Diablo in Contra Costa County.
Virgin snow.
More than a foot of snow has fallen here since Friday night. Trees are heavy with snow and ice, and the fogged-in mountain summit has turned into a playground.
Fun. It's because it's there. Because nobody else did it. So, and you can home sitting watching the Daytona 500.
I've been here for 17 years, and it snowed, but I mean, I've never seen this much up here.
This amount of snow seldom falls on Mount Diablo. The amount of snow and ice added to poor visibility has made the roads in the park very dangerous.
Bicycles seem to fare a lot better in the snow here on Mount Diablo than cars have. 2 cars have been stuck up here since Friday night when the snow started to fall, and until tow trucks can make it up here to get them out, they're here to stay.
Park rangers were forced to close the state park yesterday at 11 a.m. The road to the summit was closed to cars, but not to hikers and bikes. Rangers want to make sure that they can make the icy summit road safe before letting in sightseers.
We're going to be opening it temporarily here for a short while and see if we can get some people up to the snow. And hopefully the road won't freeze over before they get out.
Thanks, and make sure that you're back in your vehicle at 4:30.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
As the park was open this afternoon, dozens of locals headed for the hills for a touch of a rare local winter. Sights seldom seen here, but always appreciated. On Mount Diablo, Tomas Roman, Channel 5, Eyewitness News, Nightcast.
And if you're planning on heading up to Mount Diablo tomorrow to see the snow, it would be a very good idea to call the park station first. Just like today, the rangers are planning to open the park only for a short time because of the icy roads.
And Roland Galvan joins us from the Weather Center here at KPIX with the latest on this cold snap. Roland, what's going on?
One word sums it up, cold. Record cold temperatures this morning in the city of San Francisco, Oakland, and in Alameda. Tomorrow, another near record-breaking day, especially during the morning hours when radiational cooling really starts taking its effect. The reason for it, clear skies. Let me show you the satellite picture. The skies have really cleared off quite nicely as that area of low pressure responsible for the snow and rain is now moving into Arizona and southern sections of Nevada, producing a good deal of snow in that region. The clouds you see to the west are nothing more than high clouds. There is some moisture associated with it, but if we get any at all, it will be to the extreme northwestern sections of the state. So tonight, look for some very, very cold temperatures. Again, near record-breaking temperatures by tomorrow morning. We'll update that, plus the 5-day forecast a little bit later on.
Those winter coats will stay out of storage for a while, it looks like. Thanks, Roland.
We have all kinds of weather problems tonight. The winter weather now causing some trouble for the travelers who are heading to the south. Big trouble because the main highway that links the north and the south in California closed to traffic tonight. Grapevine section of Interstate 5 is blocked from the Grapevine to Castaic. CHP closed the interstate because the icy conditions were causing too many accidents. There's no word at this point when that highway will be reopened. Bad weather is also being blamed tonight for a massive sewage spill in Los Angeles. Health officials have closed 18 miles of beaches after heavy rains caused the sewage at this water treatment plant to overflow. Beaches between Malibu and Palos Verdes are off limits because of the spill.
6 people were hurt tonight when a plane headed from Los Angeles to New York was forced to abort takeoff. The TWA L-1011 was taxiing down a runway at Los Angeles International Airport when smoke and steam filled the cabin. 180 passengers had to evacuate the plane by sliding down emergency chutes. 3 passengers and 1 crew member suffered minor injuries. 2 firefighters were also hurt. Investigators blame the problem on a break in a line. They're still looking for the cause of the break.
And still ahead tonight on Eyewitness News, we'll visit with a movie star who's used his fame to help some kids who are in trouble.
Danny Glover's career has soared in movies like Lethal Weapon and The Color Purple, but this Bay Area native hasn't forgotten where he came from or the help he got on the way up.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Squaw Valley gives you the best value in winter sports and fun. Your local Ford dealer gives you Ford Bronco 2, the official vehicle of Squaw Valley. Now, save over $3,200 with cash back and option discounts, or choose 6.9 financing for 48 months. Get 4-wheel drive at the touch of a button, and get a lift with great savings. See your local Ford dealer today and ski Squaw Valley tomorrow.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Buying 35mm film can be confusing.
It's not confusing. Is that? Look at our simple chart. Chart? There's 100. Use it here, but not here. There's 400. Use it here or there, not here. And there. There's 1,000. Don't use it here or here. Just there. See? I see.
Introducing 35mm Polaroid One Film. With One Film, you can get beautiful pictures here, there, or just about anywhere. New 35mm One Film. For beautiful pictures, the choice is easy.
It happens Monday at Emporium. We're kicking off President's Day with 3-hour specials from 9 a.m. till noon throughout our stores. For 3 hours only, Emporium has a historic lineup of store-wide savings just for you. Lincoln and Washington had the right idea, so we're celebrating with something for everyone. Honest values and all-American savings store-wide. Starting at 9 a.m. on Monday, shop Emporium for 3 hours of President's Day specials you'll have to see to believe. Honest.
On January 30th, 1989, Ilene Misheloff walked home from school, but she never made it to her Dublin home. If you have any information that could help find Ilene, please call this number. Take the time, for kids' sake.
Tonight, many of you watched the movie The Color Purple starring San Francisco's own Danny Glover. His role in the film was controversial, but there is no controversy about the fact that Glover has become a Hollywood favorite. Any way you look at it, actor Danny Glover's popularity has exploded in recent years, from his action-packed roles in Lethal Weapon to his critically acclaimed performance in The Color Purple. Glover has come a long way, but hasn't forgotten where he came from, the Bay Area.
Born and raised right here in San Francisco. And I say the Bay, we say the Bay Area, and I like to think of myself as being the Bay Area, but specifically from San Francisco.
And it was to San Francisco that Glover returned recently to help turn around some troubled kids. He spoke to a group at Juvenile Hall about his own experience growing up in the city and his own minor scrapes with the law.
I came up here one time, and then I made a choice. I didn't want to come up here no more.
The message Glover delivered is this: with confidence, any child can take control of his life.
I don't think that sense of self has to be at the detriment of other people. Unfortunately, a number of these kids are here for that for some reason. Their sense of self has come at the expense of other people.
Glover admits that the kids here may be likely to listen to him because of his movie roles, but some see him as a person who grew up on the same streets they did and made it.
There are no free rides. The only ride it is a journey. It's a journey with life, a journey through life in which we all grow, in which we all find some way of elevating ourselves and challenging ourselves and growing even more.
Well, the honors for Danny Glover continue to grow. Next weekend, he will be in Oakland to be inducted into the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame.
How sexually freewheeling are American adults? Well, there's a new study out tonight that suggests we're pretty tame. According to the nationwide survey of 1,400 Americans who are over the age of 18, 98.5% of the married people said that they were faithful to their spouse last year. And the average number of sex partners of the entire survey group was a very low 1.2. That study was conducted by Dr. Tom Smith of the University of Chicago. Dr. Smith says that it suggests Americans are undertaking a more traditional, less permissive attitude towards sex because of AIDS.
Should I ask whether either one of you were surveyed?
I was going to say, whatever you do, don't try to tie sports into this story.
I said, should I ask? You see it, I noticed there was silence. I guess not.
The answer is
okay.
no.
All right, what's coming up in sports?
We're going to take a look at how things went around the basketball court today. The Warriors had a home court win streak on the line, and the biggest stock car racing in the country was run today.
Move up to Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme styling and performance. Cutlass Supreme with the exclusive Olds Edge, 24-hour roadside service, bumper-to-bumper warranty, and we're so sure you'll love your new Cutlass Supreme. If you're not satisfied, bring it back.
We got the deal on your new Oldsmobile.
Now get $1,500 cash back.
See the new generation of Bay Area Oldsmobile dealers today.
The best ideas in checking come from Wells Fargo, the outfit with the longest hours of any major California bank. Open every weekday 9 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 4. Wells Fargo comes through again. The best ideas in checking come from Wells Fargo, the only major California bank with no charge at over 1,200 Express Stop ATMs, so you get free reign throughout the state. Wells Fargo comes through again.
This is another government report on education in America. This is the text of a speech on education given by the president. A lot has been written and said about education because our economic future depends upon how well we educate our children. And that requires the commitment of teachers, parents, administrators, and government. We must all get involved and make education our top priority. Please, no more reports, no more speeches. We need action.
Get smart, America. Invest in education.
Most credit cards advance you cash, but then immediately take interest back and keep on taking it. But now you can get cash interest-free with your Discover card. Just pay your balance every month, and for a small transaction fee, we'll give you the cash interest-free. So take it from us, instead of giving it to them. It pays to Discover.
This has been a rather historic weekend in Southern California for the basketball programs of Cal and Stanford. The Cardinals today beat UCLA in Los Angeles for the first time since 1952. Kenny Ammon will hit for 3 for Stanford here. Cal beat the Bruins on Thursday night on the road for the first time since 1960. Deshaun Wingate goes up for 2 of his 12 points as the Cardinal led by 11 at the half. Wingate, who gets fouled here, would later foul out of the game himself. And so would Andrew Vlahov. Vlahov led Stanford with 20 points, a tough 2 inside here. Stanford is up by 11 with just less than 4 minutes to play before the Bruins went on a 12-3 run. The Bruins on the break here. Derek Martin will take it all the way himself. It was 70-69 Stanford with 4 seconds left, and the Cardinal inbounding the ball. Stanford gets it in and manages to run out the clock without making a mistake, hanging on to the 1-point win. The Cardinal is 15-8 overall, 7-7 in the conference, and the Bruins have to be wondering what happened to the teams from the north that used to be automatic at Pauley Pavilion. The first-place team in the conference rolled on today. Scott Haskett misses, but Gary Payton gets the rebound, makes a twisting return for 2 of his 26 points. Oregon State over Washington State, 83-63. And in a non-conference game, UNLV downed Arizona, 95-87. Moses Scurry takes the pass inside, jams into despite the foul, then gets pretty happy with the results. Larry Johnson led the Rebels with 26. After a pair of tough wins this week, Missouri should regain the top spot in the nation's college polls. The Tigers beat top-ranked Kansas on Tuesday and today knocked off Oklahoma. We're late in the game here and trailing by 1. The Tigers go ahead 91-90 on a quick inbounds pass from Anthony Peeler to Doug Smith. A free throw by Smith put Missouri ahead by 2. Now you see the time left. The Sooners have a chance to win or tie. They get 3 opportunities to send the game into overtime, but can't get the shots to fall. Missouri now a game and a half in front of Kansas and 2.5 in front of Oklahoma in the Big 8. On to the Big 10, where Ohio State's Mark Baker misses this free throw, but Jim Jackson gets the tip with 13 seconds to play, putting the Buckeyes ahead of 6th-ranked Michigan, 64-61. You see the time left. The Wolverines try to tie it with a three-pointer. First Emil Robinson, and then Loy Vaught missed. The Buckeyes have the win over Michigan, a win that for them is always sweet, no matter what the sport. Also today, 5th-ranked Duke over Wake Forest. LSU got 46 points from Chris Jackson and ran past Vanderbilt, 121-108. The longest home court winning streak in Warrior history came to an end this afternoon, and it came to an end in a big way. Warriors coach Don Nelson wasn't around to see the 15-game streak end as he picked up his second technical foul in the second quarter and had to make an early exit. The Phoenix Suns seems to be the one team Golden State can't match up with these days, and the one player who gave the Warriors fits today was Tom Chambers. After his own miss, Chambers got the garbage there and 2 of his 56 points. And Suns single-game scoring record, and today found himself in a zone.
I just felt like the basket was a hula hoop. You know, I knew that thing was going to go in, and it was a great feeling. And, you know, like I said earlier, my teammates were, they were laughing and joking and talking about freezing me out in the second half, but they supported me all the way and wanted me to get it. Even Paul Westphal, who I think I broke his record tonight, was saying go for 60. That's makes you feel real good.
Well, the Warriors didn't feel too good about the 131-113 loss, their second straight to Phoenix, who they lost to on the road Friday night. Chambers' 56 is not the highest point total ever against the Warriors. Elgin Baylor had 63 against the Philadelphia Warriors in 1961. Golden State is back on the road tomorrow night playing the Nuggets in Denver. At the Forum, the classic NBA matchup, Lakers against the Celtics. Classic Magic Johnson pass there as James Worthy gets the jam for 2 of his 25 points. After Dennis Johnson misses, it's Worthy to Byron Scott for an easy pair. Scott had 24. Magic led L.A. with 30. The Lakers make it a regular season sweep over Boston with a 116-110 win. And in Milwaukee, the Bucks fell to Michael Jordan and the Bulls, 111-88. Jordan takes this Scottie Pippen pass, jams down 2 of his 39 points. Also, Seattle over Charlotte as the Hornets are held to a franchise-low 70 points. Washington over Indiana. The Timberwolves knocked off Atlanta, and Philly trimmed Portland, a game in which the lead changed 5 times in the last minute. The biggest event on the NASCAR circuit was won today by a driver even those on the circuit themselves might not recognize.
$188,000, the prize for the winner of the 32nd Daytona 500. Early on, it was obvious veteran driver Richard Petty would not win his 8th Daytona. Petty gets sideways on lap 26 and ends up on the infield. Veteran driver Dale Earnhardt in car number 3 led most of the way, but on the final lap was slowed by some debris on the track. 4 drivers shot past him. First in line, Derek Cope. Cope had never won in 66 previous tries on the Winston Cup circuit, but he and his surprise pit crew celebrated their win in this one, a win that has to be considered one of stock car racing's biggest upsets. The Senior Tour's hottest rookie is finding the over 50 circuit very much to his liking. Lee Trevino hits this nice-looking approach en route to a final round 67. In the PGA Challenge at Naples, Florida, Trevino would win for the second time in 3 weeks on the Senior Tour. He's only entered 4 tournaments and has finished 2nd and 7th in the other 2. This putt to save par at 18 was enough to give Trevino a one-shot win over second-place finisher Bruce Crampton. Trevino's winning total 16 under par 200. Last year on the regular tour, Trevino won $118,000. In 4 weeks on the Senior Tour, he's already won better than $169,000. We go from Lee Trevino to Dan Forsman, which shows you why the Senior Tour is steadily gaining in popularity these days. Forsman gets this birdie putt to fall en route to his second consecutive round of even par 72. That was good enough to win the Shearson Lehman Hutton Open in La Jolla by 2 shots over Tommy Armour. As Forsman's wife and a not-so-interested child look on, he knocks in a par putt at 18 to conclude a 13-under-par tournament total of 275. While Forsman keeps his joy pretty much under control, one of his other youngsters is a little more spontaneous about the whole thing. Tour win number 3 of Forsman's career. Nice job, Dad. And a pretty good finish in the final round of the Inverary Classic on the Women's Tour. Lauderhill, Florida, the site for this one, as Jane Crafter started the day in a 3-way tie for first place. Crafter with a birdie here at 16, came to 18, still tied with Nancy Lopez for the top spot, but had another birdie attempt for the win.
Didn't take much time over the ball, going for the hole, and just won it!
That birdie wrapped up a round of 72, and it gave Crafter her first solo win in 9 years on the tour. And new heavyweight champion Buster Douglas has announced the opponent for his first title defense. Douglas said today he'll meet Evander Holyfield at a yet-to-be-determined date in September, and if he wins that fight, we'll then worry about a rematch with Mike Tyson. Unlike the Douglas-Tyson fight, things went as expected in the finals of the Sky Dome World Tennis Tournament in Toronto. Yvonne Lendl in the far court took care of Tim Mayotte in pretty routine fashion, winning in straight sets of 6-3, 6-0. Mayotte hasn't had an easy time of it in his career against Lendl. This was his 17th career loss without a win, and just last weekend he lost to Lendl in Italy. The $167,000 Lendl won in this tournament puts him over $16 million for his career in earnings.
That's a pretty nice neighborhood to be in for your career.
Lee Trevino will be up there with him soon on the Seniors Tour.
Raise your kids to be tennis players, I guess. One final score. Stanford started a baseball game with UCLA Friday night.
Right.
It was rained out. They tried to play again yesterday. It was rained out. Finally, they got it finished today. Stanford won 16-5. Paul Carey hit a home run in that. That gives him 43 in his career for Stanford, and he becomes the career leader in home runs for the Stanford
Good
club.
things are always worth waiting for.
I guess so.
Barbara is worth waiting for, because in a minute, he's going to give us some idea about this record cold spell we're having and let us know if it's going to continue.
And the marathon celebration of music tonight at a Bay Area nightclub.
At El Torito, we challenged our chefs to create the biggest and best Mexican combination dinners anywhere. The result are Fiesta Combos, 4 fantastic dinners with favorites like tacos, enchiladas, taquitos, and tostadas. To make the Fiesta Combos even bigger and better, we're including a free nachos appetizer and a free delicious deep-fried ice cream dessert. But the biggest and best part is that it's all only $7.95 at El Torito, the Fiesta restaurant.
Hi, I'm Jan Yanahiro. I'm 42, and for several years now, I've known I needed a mammogram. I don't have any great excuses why I put it off. Finally, on a bet with a friend, I went to the Breast Health Center at Children's Hospital of San Francisco. It was so easy. All the technologists are women. It took only a few minutes, and I got the results quickly. If you need a mammogram, get one. You owe it to yourself. Call for your appointment.
Remember when life was simple? You came home from school. Mom made dinner.
then everyone watched TV with Dad. Now that we're grown, everything old is new again. Nostalgia. It's more than a fad. It's a phenomenon. What we see, hear, and feel, even the values we believe in. Find out how the way we are is being changed by the way we were. An Eyewitness News special series, starting Monday night at 11 on Channel 5.
In San Francisco tonight, a celebration of music that many people call America's greatest art form. It was a celebration of jazz. For 9 solid hours, 12 bands performed at Bimbo's 365 Club. The entire affair was sponsored by the New Orleans Jazz Club of Northern California. It's a non-profit group dedicated to preserving and promoting traditional jazz. Here's a sample from the Spirit of 29 band.
Nice, kind of borderline the ragtime, though, isn't it?
That does sound a little bit, yeah.
Little ragtime. Roland,
You remember
the weather.
those days, don't you?
I remember them real well, buddy. Prohibition, those side runners.
The whole 9 yards. Cold temperatures. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, you're going to be freezing. It's record-breaking. Of course, you're off tomorrow. Yeah. He doesn't wake up before noon anyway. Record-breaking temperatures expected tomorrow and possibly into Tuesday. We'll explain that in just a few seconds. Let's take a look at the way it is out now. Clear skies, things looking really nice. You can see the stars. Again with this currently. We did this last night. These are 6 o'clock temperatures. I guess we're just doing sort of a comparison of the way it was at 6 o'clock. As generally temperatures were in the 49 to 50 degree range. Currently here at our studios, well, we're not going to see it. Just like last night, we didn't see the current temperature. But currently we are at 45 degrees here at our studios. Winds are generally calm, and the two are combining for the possibility for some record-breaking temperatures. Look at the satellite picture. Clear skies over much of the Bay Area and over most of the state of California. The moisture and the snow and the big storm system that brought us all the snow and rain is now moving towards Nevada and back into parts of Arizona, producing a good deal of snow there. And with the clear skies here, the forecast temperatures, that 38-degree temperature should tie, that's the forecast temperature, should tie the record for tomorrow morning. So we'll have to see if that does indeed get broken. 36 in Pacifica, the morning low expected. Half Moon Bay at 36, at 29 in Boulder Creek with the afternoon high of 56. A 32-57 spread in Hayward, Mountain View. A 36-58 spread, a 34-58 also in Los Gatos, and a 58-35 expected in Redwood City. Oakland with a brand new record low this morning should get down to about 34 degrees. Same holds true for the Johnsons over in Walnut Creek. Napa, 29 degrees, the forecast low with the afternoon high with some sunshine. Plenty of it. Of course, anything of the sunshine that we had today is much more than we've had over the past several days with the clouds and the rain. 51, the forecast high in Santa Rosa. Petaluma, 56 and 31 spread. Same holds true for Nevada. San Rafael, 57-32. Across the state, very cold. Up in the Sierra, Lake Tahoe at 26, their forecast low in the single digits by tomorrow morning. Palm Springs, one of the warm spots, is 65, and San Diego, the afternoon high getting up to 60 with plenty of sunshine. They've had their share of bad weather out toward the southern sections of the state as well. A lot of moisture along the Gulf Coast. Some flooding has been occurring over the past several days across parts of Georgia, back into the Carolinas. More rain is expected with temperatures cooling off with the clouds at 53 in Atlanta. A 34 afternoon high in Chicago. Very cold there, but they are expecting some sunshine. As a matter of fact, much of the Midwest looking for some sunshine. And that storm system kicks back into the Rockies, producing a good deal of snow. So winter storm watches and warnings are in effect from New Mexico, all the way up in the western areas of Montana. Here's your forecast then for tonight. Very cold. Make sure the kids are bundled up. Afternoon temperatures tomorrow will be warming up with some sunshine, but tonight, very, very cold. In the mid-30s, some areas into the 20s. Clear and cold, patchy areas of fog, light winds tomorrow afternoon in the 40s and 50s. Plenty of sunshine in our forecast. The next 5 days, we're going to start to dry out, and no rain expected over the next 5 days. So it's about time we get some sunshine here.
Great-looking bridge there.
Very nice.
You don't know what the name of it is, do you?
I didn't even see which one it was.
We were trying to figure it out. I think it might be Joe says Rio Vista.
It looks like the one.
Maybe.
Well, we'll investigate.
We'll find out. Thank you, Roland. Have a great week.
Well, that's it for this edition of Nightcast. I'm Barbara Rogers.
And I'm Doug Murphy. We want to show you the names now of the people that bring you Eyewitness News. And we want to show you a little more of that jazz music, kind of ragtime jazz music from
Early jazz.
Early back in the 1900s. Have a great week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bring the Baron home tonight. Red Baron frozen pizza.
1, 2, 3, 4. The 4-door Acura Integra, because growing into your future doesn't mean giving up your past. Test drive the sports car that fits a full life. Acura. For 3 straight years, #1 in overall customer satisfaction.
It happens Monday at Emporium. We're kicking off President's Day with 3-hour specials from 9 till noon. Shop a historic lineup of store-wide savings at Emporium. Don't miss it.
Somebody once said, old age isn't bad, considering the alternative. Well, if you think recycling is a nuisance, consider the alternative. We've made a mess of our planet, and our future depends on getting out and cleaning it up. Let's not leave it for our kids.
A key to saving the rainforests, starting Wednesday at 6.
This is the CBS Sunday Night News. Bill Plant reporting. Good evening. Japan's ruling party survived a public furor over sex scandals and an unpopular tax in today's election. Liberal Democratic Party, which is actually on the conservative side of the political spectrum, held on to its majority in Parliament despite a vigorous challenge, as Bill Whitaker reports.
They're still counting the votes, but even before the final tally, Prime Minister Toshiki Kaifu painted in the traditional sign of victory, proclaiming the ruling Liberal Democratic Party's continued control of the powerful lower house of Parliament. This despite voter displeasure with taxes and recent scandals. The other big Election Day winner was the Japan Socialist Party, which racked up impressive gains. But socialist gains came at the expense of other opposition parties, which lost seats this time.
This was called a pivotal election that would set Japan's political course for the 1990s.
Observers say voters grudgingly stuck with the status quo.
So this decade is a much more politically tentative and ambiguous time for Japan, and the opportunity for change is still there.
The LDP's victory is no mandate. Their strength in the lower house was weakened, and many voters have lost faith. This morning, Japanese television went searching for voters' remarks. I didn't want to vote for the LDP, says this woman, but many Japanese voters did, deciding, whatever their reservations, to stick with the tried and true. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Tokyo.
Defense Secretary Dick Cheney is in Manila tonight for talks with the Philippine government on security issues. But as Bruce Dunning reports, the usually cordial relations between Washington and Manila are strained, and Cheney won't be seeing President Aquino.
The secretary arrived to warm weather but a cold welcome. American VIPs usually get a presidential audience, but President Aquino decreed that Cheney should meet only with his counterpart, Defense Minister Ramos. Filipinos are furious with the Bush administration for arbitrarily cutting $96 million from a signed military aid package. The move plays into the hands of Mrs. Aquino's worst enemies. Her chief rival, Juan Ponce-Enrile, calls the aid cut a no-confidence vote from Washington.
From their viewpoint, she's on the way out, and second, that she has no leverage whatsoever to deal with them.
Before Cheney's arrival, the president journeyed far from Manila, presiding at the graduation ceremony for the Philippine Military Academy. It was her most public confrontation with the Army since the recent coup attempt.
Your solid leadership of the Cadet Corps last December in support of our duly constituted government was in no small measure crucial in turning the tide against our enemies.
She must convince the military to stay with her and give up dreams of seizing power. Mrs. Aquino must also convince soldiers and civilians alike that Washington is not about to abandon her. Bruce Dunning, CBS News, Manila.
Rebel sources in Colombia say that 3 Americans kidnapped last week are to be freed tonight. The 3 Americans, a businessman, a teacher, and a priest, were seized to protest President Bush's presence at the drug summit in Cartagena. Still ahead on the CBS Sunday Night News, Czechoslovakia's new president comes to the United States. And in South Africa, another round of anti-apartheid protests.
good way to lower your cholesterol is to eat more fiber as part of a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet. And one of the best sources of fiber is prunes. Prunes, the high-fiber fruit.
How fast does Dristan nasal spray start to work?
Faster than a teenager can answer the phone.
Dristan spray pump works fast to relieve congestion, even sinus pressure. For relief...
Faster than tumbleweed in a tornado.
Dristan nasal spray. It's faster than...
The great Folgers switch. It's happening in homes.
I can't believe I pulled the switch on him. I did it.
I always enjoy
at work
pulling little pranks as long as it hurts nobody.
And all across America.
Made the switch and he liked it.
People who thought they were drinking fresh brewed coffee were secretly switched to dark, rich Folgers crystals. And we're putting their stories on TV.
I thought it was pert coffee from the moment it touched my lips.
I fooled you, Gerda. I fooled you. Call this number to get a valuable coupon so you can try the switch. Your story could be on TV.
Romanians are growing impatient with their new government, saying it's not much better than the Ceausescu regime. Today, hundreds of angry demonstrators stormed government headquarters and assaulted the vice prime minister. The army moved in and made more than 100 arrests. In Lithuania, a member of the Communist Party's ruling Politburo predicted today that the Baltic Republic will pull out of the Soviet Union by the end of the year. Last week, Lithuania's parliament nullified a 1940 vote which made it a part of the USSR. The reunification of Germany will be topic A when West German Chancellor Kohl comes to Washington this week. The Bush administration made the U.S. position clear today, as Wyatt Andrews reports.
President Bush today reaffirmed his insistence that any unified Germany be part of NATO, and that strong Soviet objections to that idea haven't changed his mind.
So we're just going to stay with it.
The U.S. is sticking to its position because it does not think the Soviet opposition is final. A West German delegation which met Mikhail Gorbachev just last week got no hint of Gorbachev's objections.
Our impression was that Gorbachev hasn't made up his mind yet what the future status of Germany should look like.
Secretary of State Baker today said the Soviets may even want U.S. forces to stay in a united Germany, the implication being the U.S. would help protect against a resurgent German military.
I think, without putting words in the mouths of the Soviets, that they see the stability that is afforded by the continued presence of United States forces in Europe.
A consensus has developed that all of these strong Soviet objections to a unified Germany inside NATO are just part of a tactical gambit, a negotiating position eventually to be traded away in exchange for some future guarantee of Soviet security. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Kennebunkport.
In East Germany, historic elections are fast approaching, but as far as the campaigning goes, correspondent Bert Quint
here enjoyed a Sunday off sightseeing. Hard to believe that East Germany's first free election in decades, one that will set the stage for unification of the two Germanys and a likely shakeup of both NATO and the Warsaw Pact, is just a month away. Polls indicate this man, allied with West Germany's leading opposition party, the Social Democrats, will be the new prime minister. Not because he's well known, but because his party got off to a fast start. Ibrahim Berma is pretty much a mystery man. Orphaned during the war, he says he thinks he is of Jewish origin. If he is, it would be a dramatic development to have a Jew as leader of this Prussian state. A small group of neo-Nazis reportedly has threatened his life, causing Berma to spend a lot of time in West Berlin. Berma is not the only beneficiary of West German help. Well-off individuals and businesses from beyond the wall already are trying to take advantage of the crisis economy and the switch to capitalism in East Germany.
No matter who wins this election, it looks as though the real power in East Germany will be a long way from here, in the West German capital of Bonn. That's where the purse strings are. Bert Quint, CBS News, Potsdam, East Germany.
At 1,184,880 miles, a Mercedes-Benz 180D is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most durable car. Just how far can a Mercedes actually go?
Deceptively
simple alternative to stitches. Steri-Strip Adhesive Skin Closures. Applied by doctors, they eliminate the pain of stitches and lessen the chance of infection. Thanks to 3M technology, painful stitches can be just a memory. 3M, innovation working for you.
In South Africa, excitement over the release of Nelson Mandela from prison appears to be waning. Few people showed up for a rally in Soweto today, and it was canceled. Richard Wagner reports on Mandela's Day and what's ahead.
Nelson Mandela took it easy today in Soweto at the end of his first week of freedom after 27 years as a political prisoner. In Alexandra, another of the black ghettos around Johannesburg, a demonstration recalling violent clashes with the security forces in the mid-'80s went off without incident. The police are continuing to maintain a low profile in this new era of accommodation between this country's blacks and the government. After his day of rest, Mandela faces a busy schedule. He has 2 speeches on his agenda this week and a series of meetings with advisors. He's expected, within the next week or two, to travel to Lusaka, Zambia, to confer with the exiled leadership of the African National Congress. And he's indicated he would like to visit Sweden, India, Canada, and possibly other countries as time permits. He's also been invited to Washington by President Bush. As this nation's blacks continue their peaceful protests, observers here speculate the next major concession on the part of the government could be the lifting of the 4-year-old state of emergency. The government might make that move, analysts say, in exchange for the ANC renouncing its policy of armed resistance to apartheid. Richard Wagner, CBS News, Johannesburg.
Most credit cards advance you cash, but then immediately take interest back and keep on taking it. But now you can get cash interest-free with your Discover card. Just pay your balance every month, and for a small transaction fee, we'll give you the cash interest-free. So take it from us, instead of giving it to them. It pays to Discover.
There's a revolution stirring. It's changing the way people drink that sugar substitute made with the European ingredient, Sudafed. Sweet one gives you a clean, sweet taste, but just 4 little calories. Taste new, sweet one. The taste that's causing a stir.
Czechoslovakia's reluctant president, the once jailed poet and playwright Václav Havel, visits Washington this week. And the background music will be the continuing and uneven pace of change in Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe today is so different than it was 6 months ago. Communism is gone. The Warsaw Pact is virtually dead.
The question now for the newly liberated nations of the East Bloc, what's next? How do they escape the past? It's time, say the experts, for some new thinking in the U.S. as well as in the USSR.
We can no longer think of Eastern Europe as a bloc. We must now think of each country in the region in its own light, with its unique history, aspirations, and potential.
What that means is that the U.S. intends to judge each emerging East Bloc nation on how quickly it moves toward democratic government and a market economy. And in some cases, those reforms are likely to be easier than in others. Czechoslovakia, for example, benefits from the previous experience of democracy and has already begun to set free its economy as it seeks Western investment. But its new president, Václav Havel, a poet and playwright, isn't likely to ask for anything on this week's visit.
Havel is a spirit. He's not a negotiator. He's a man of ideas, not of details. We're in a phase of evolution of a whole new concept of Europe, and I think Václav Havel has some ideas on that.
That's the news this Sunday night. I'm Bill Plant in New York. Good night, and have a good week.
This week on CBS This Morning, singer and Grammy nominee Richard Marx, Kevin Costner on his new movie Revenge, plus Victoria Principal. This week on CBS This Morning. This is CBS.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Squaw Valley gives you the best value in winter sports and fun. And your local Ford dealer gives you the best values in America's best-selling compact pickup, Ford Ranger. Now, save over $2,400 on the ground.
Every refrigerator is on sale now during Circuit City's great President's Sale. Like this 14 cubic foot no-frost Frigidaire with full-width sliding steel shelves. Now just $388. You'll also save on this Crown 13-inch color TV. Now a low $138. Hurry in for these big values and more during the great President's Sale at Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
Yea, there comes a time in the life of a man and a woman when they must assume the responsibilities of adulthood and leave behind those toys of youth, which though they may runneth fast and give pleasure to the soul, yet leave no room for family.
The Mitsubishi Galant Sports Sedan. It's not only fast and gives pleasure to the soul, it leaves plenty of room for family. Yay.
You could save up to $1,000 at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer now.
KPIX salutes classroom teachers. Here's Carolyn Weed.
Do you ever think about your favorite teachers from childhood? They probably had a lot of influence on you. I know that's true for me. Classroom teachers are among the most important people in our lives, and yet very few ever get the recognition they deserve. And still, year after year, semester after semester, they devote their professional lives to teaching our children. KPIX wants to tell these teachers how much we appreciate them, so we've joined with others across the country to say thank you. Thanks to Teachers is a KPIX campaign to recognize outstanding teachers in the Bay Area. But we need your help. Just fill out this nomination form and mail it in. Ask your local superintendent or librarian for the form, and send in as many as you like. Watch KPIX for the details of this campaign. Think about those teachers who've made a difference in your children's lives, and help us say thank you for doing a great job. I'm Carolyn Weed.
The preceding was the opinion of the management. Starts Monday at 5.
Whether they take place in the air,
Mayday.
On the sea,
Oh my God.
or in the city. We have the biggest and the best disaster movies on Inside Video this week.
Milky Way.
3 bites big.
Introducing Milky Way and Snickers in a brand new size. A new snack size. 3 bites big. 3 bites big. Packs of 8. New snack size Snickers and Milky Way. 3 bites big. Packs of 8. New snack.
Cut, my lips are dry. Don't use plain petroleum jelly. Blistex is better. It contains moisture to relieve dryness faster. It has 2 medications to relieve discomfort.
This doesn't. For dry lips, Blistex ointment is better.
Question. Which face pad has stronger medicine than OxyPad?
Stridex.
Clearasil. Wrong. Nobody has stronger medicine than OxyPad.
There goes our ride home.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Squaw Valley gives you the best value in winter sports and fun, and your local Ford dealer gives you the best value in world-class trucks, like America's best-selling pickup, the full-size Ford. Now, save over $1,700 with cash back and special options on the ground-grabbing 4x4 full-size pickup. The best skiing is at Squaw Valley, and the best savings are at your local Ford dealer now.
Ford fever. When you're hot, you're hot.
Now you have a choice in filing your income tax return, the old way or the new way, Rapid Refund from H&R Block. The old way involves patience. With Rapid Refund, we file your federal return electronically, and you get a loan against your anticipated refund in a matter of days. And the fees can be withheld, too. Available whether Block prepares your return or not. So it's your choice. The old way or Rapid Refund from H&R Block to get your money fast.
America's two leading spaghetti sauces, Prego and Ragu. As you can clearly see, thick, rich Prego comes out on top, and Ragu comes out on the bottom. See it for yourself. Prego spaghetti sauce comes out on top.
If this is your idea of a hot breakfast, think about this. In the time it takes to make coffee, you can make hot scrambled eggs, sizzling bacon, and crispy home fries. Swanson Great Starts Breakfast. A real breakfast in minutes.
How far do you have to go for a fixed-rate second mortgage loan? Not far. It's as close as the money store's local toll-free number. 1-800-LOAN-YES. You're just a phone call away from low fixed rates and quick approval. And after closing, you've got 2 weeks to change your mind for any reason. Guaranteed? That's right. Just return the money and the deal is off. At no cost to you. Call from anywhere for details about our money-back guarantee. Dial 1-800-LOAN-YES.
We'll return after these messages.
Your door is ajar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, nothing's moving. I'm late. I got a terrible headache. What else could go
Your
wrong?
gas is low.
Those are the gas stations around.
Notice 4 Caltrains go by.
I wonder what the car would have to say about that.
Perhaps we should consider Caltrain. Up and down the peninsula. No traffic, no weather delays, no parking problems, no gas.
These calves spend their entire lives chained in small wooden crates. They can't walk or even turn around. To keep them alive, they're fed antibiotics, which can be passed on to consumers. This have to be this way, and with your help, it won't be. Please join us.
The bill's twice as big as usual.
'Cause, honey, you ate twice as much.
With extra strength Tums EX, even twice the heartburn's no sweat. It's twice as strong, twice as fast as regular Rolaids.
Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Caramello. Chocolate and flowing caramel. Caramello.
We'll be back in a few minutes. Oh, my lips are dry.
Don't use plain petroleum jelly. Use Blistex.
Come on. Blistex is for cold sores.
It also works better on dry lips. Blistex contains moisture for faster relief of dryness. Plain petroleum jelly doesn't. Blistex also has 2 medicated ingredients to relieve discomfort.
This doesn't.
Only Blistex has that great lip tip.
Adds moisture, relieves discomfort, lip tips. That makes Blistex ointment better.
The program no one can match just got better. You made January one of our most successful sales months ever, so we're extending the guaranteed rebates. Get our guaranteed highest rebate on every U.S.-built 1990 Dodge pickup. For the first time, get $1,000 on our Cummins turbo diesel. Get $1,500 back on Dakota, or $2,000 on full-size pickups. The guaranteed rebate. Nobody can match us. Not Ford, not Chevy, not the imports. Only Dodge.
Elvin, meet Bob Jr. Call me Jr.
Bob Jr., meet Elvin Jr.
Call me Junior, too.
Junior, too.
Just Junior.
Elvin, Junior, care for a Junior Mint? Rich chocolatey outside.
Cool minty inside.
The perfect balance of chocolate and mint.
I wouldn't mind some more Juniors, Junior.
Well, my Juniors are your Juniors. So, Junior, what do you do?
A Finkel Frankel Birkenberg.
Junior partner!
Chocolatey minty Junior Mint. This has been a Bluebonnet production.
Hurry in now to Circuit City's great President's Sale for spectacular savings at every department. Like this Smith Corona electronic typewriter with correcting cassette, now a low $99. And this Sony 80-watt audio component system with dual cassette deck and remote, just $447. Hurry in for spectacular savings in every department. It's the great President's Sale at Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
The African elephant is in immediate danger of becoming extinct. In just 10 years, the population of African elephants has been cut in half. Every day, 143 elephants are slaughtered by brutal poachers, their tusks hacked off with machetes. If the current rate of killing continues, the entire population of African elephants could be extinct in just 25 years. An entire species destroyed for the sake of trinkets, bracelets, and earrings. You can help stop the slaughter. Please give to World Wildlife Fund Elephant Action Campaign. Call this number now. Your tax-deductible donation of $15 or more will help put poachers and the people who hire them out of business. Call World Wildlife Fund now, and you may not have to answer this question later.
Your fond memories being used to sell. Monday at 11.
Welcome to Face the Nation. I'm Leslie Stahl. This was the week everyone accepted the inevitability of two Germanys becoming one. Mikhail Gorbachev and Margaret Thatcher caved in, agreeing with the U.S. and France to negotiate a plan for German reunification.
We are aware of the historical dimension of this process. The historical dimension includes remembering all the suffering inflicted on other nations in the name of Germany.
The big powers reached agreement so quickly, President Bush was caught by surprise.
Changes are going on so fast there that it's hard to keep up with them all.
In Bonn, opposition parties accused Chancellor Kohl of browbeating the East Germans and of acting like the leader of a united Germany already. 3,000 people still flee from east to west every day. Factories and shops are closing because there's nobody to run them.
The expectation on the part of the East German population that they will very soon form a part of an all-German state is so strong that any East German party, any East German politician, any East German leadership which tries to deny this will simply be swept to one side.
A weakened Gorbachev gave his approval, even though the Soviets will lose their strongest ally and possibly recreate their most bitter enemy. The fear of a Nazi revival has most of Europe seeking specific guarantees that a united Germany will not expand its territory. Poland is particularly concerned.
The Poles want ironclad assurances, and indeed other countries want these assurances as well in regard to the German-Polish frontier, that the Germans will never again raise the question of these so-called lost territories.
Is this process moving too fast? We'll ask Horst Teltschik, Helmut Kohl's foreign policy advisor, and we'll have a discussion about Europe's growing anxieties. German reunification. Is there anything to fear? An issue facing the nation.
From CBS News, Washington, Face the Nation with Leslie Stahl. This portion of Face the Nation with Leslie Stahl is brought to you by Merrill Lynch. We're bullish on the 90s. And by the Archer Daniels Midland Company. ADM, supermarket to the world.
A century of incredible change. Merrill Lynch believes it will culminate in a decade of extraordinary opportunity, and our insight can help you make the most of it. Merrill Lynch, we're bullish on the 90s.
When American consumers reach for sugar, they get a pretty good deal. We pay about half of what they pay in Japan, and less than the price paid in France, Germany, and Sweden. We pay less than in Argentina, Spain, and other countries. And because American food companies also pay less for sugar and high-quality corn sweeteners, the cost for sweetening is less than 2 cents per 40-cent candy bar or soft drink, and 2 cents per 80-cent loaf of bread or 90-cent pint of ice cream. And that's a sweet deal for everyone.
With us from Bonn, Horst Teltschik, foreign policy advisor to West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. Mr. Teltschik, the steamroller toward German reunification was going so fast, everyone thought that the unification could be accomplished before the end of this year. But in the last day or two, several different elements have been trying to put the brakes on. Is this drive being slowed down, say, by the Soviet Union, even by East Germany, or do you feel that it is inexorable and it will take place before the end of this year?
Leslie,
nobody can make any forecast how fast the process will move ahead. It might happen, and this is our judgment, that we can finalize the unification more or less until the end of that year. But I think nobody can slow down that process. Neither the Soviets nor we, because the people in East Germany are the only one who are responsible what will happen during the next time.
Well, let's talk about the Soviets. A top advisor to Mr. Gorbachev, Valentin Fallon, made a threat yesterday. He said there will not be unification if the West continues to insist that a united Germany be part of NATO. Do you take that threat seriously? You said no one can stop it. I assume then you don't.
Yes and no. Look, my impression is that people like Fallon or Portugalov or Zagladin...
Who are they? I don't think the American people know who they are.
Those are all advisors of President Gorbachev. And they are publishing now a lot of interviews just now. I think their job just now is to get different responses by the West, to look what might be possible and what might not be possible. Our impression 1 week ago in Moscow, when the Chancellor had his meeting with General Secretary Gorbachev, our impression was that Gorbachev hasn't made up his mind yet what the future status of Germany should look like. And therefore, you can take Fallon serious, but not too serious.
So you think they're just floating ideas and they're not sure themselves?
Indeed.
Well, let me ask you about West Germany's commitment to NATO. I know that Chancellor Kohl seems to be committed, but there are other strong elements in your society, the big opposition party, the Social Democrats, who could very conceivably become the leading party in a united Germany, is not that committed. What do you think will happen eventually to the NATO connection?
First of all, the Chancellor publicly immediately had said that he wouldn't accept the neutrality of Germany. And Gorbachev has told him that he is fully aware of that and that he wouldn't do anything to dishonor the Germans. And look, we are still members of the European community too, and we can't get rid of NATO, but sticking to European community and becoming neutral. This is impossible. Therefore, the question is what will happen after unification, and we believe that we will be member of the alliance, but that the NATO alliance wouldn't extend their responsibility to East Germany.
Let me ask you about all this insistence from the West, and I gather from some East European countries that Germany stay in NATO. They say this is stabilizing. They say we need this for assurances. What's really going on, I think, is that the West wants to keep an eye on Germany because they're afraid of another Reich, I guess, another move of aggression and militarism. Tell us what the German people really feel about these anxieties from the West and these insistences that there be watchdogs over you as you move to unification. Does this bother the German people, or do they understand it? What?
No, I think the German people have learned that they have to take into account the interests and the concerns of our friends and neighbors in the West and in the East. And look, it's very important that our eastern neighbors, like Poland, like Czechoslovakia, like Hungary, publicly have said that they are not in favor of a neutral Germany. And I think it's absolutely right.
Yeah, but that's because they're afraid of your aggressiveness. When do the German people say, okay, enough already, we've paid our dues, We've proved for 40 years that we can live in peace. When does all that break, or doesn't it?
Indeed, indeed. The Germans, all the Germans say today, 40 years after the war, everybody could witness that we are Democrats, that we are part of the Western world, that we are sticking to freedom, to democracy, and therefore nobody should question it. And therefore too much distrust on the Germans would be very bad and would have repercussions on the Germans. That's absolutely true.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
I wanted to ask you, though, well, what you say is true of the West Germans. Doesn't appear to be as true of the East Germans, who have never really recognized their Nazi past, never really admitted the atrocities for their part the way the West Germans did.
Yes, but they could watch West German TV for decades now, and they can travel now in both directions, and they had a lot of close contacts to families, to members of families living in West Germany. I think they are fully aware what democracy is and what kind of responsibilities they have to watch. Therefore, I have no doubt that they will be as good as the West Germans at the end.
Mr. Telchik, there's a report that Helmut Kohl, or the government, maybe it was Mr. Genscher, gave promises to the Soviets that as soon as there's unification, you will pledge to move to recognize formally the western border, Poland's western border, to assure the Polish population that the part of Poland that once was Germany will not now become part of a united Germany. Is that true? Have you made that promise?
Sure, we always have said when Germany will be united, we will confirm the borders. There's no question.
Well, I thought when Helmut Kohl went into Silesia, into Poland last year, he refused to say that. Isn't that correct?
No, that's not correct. He always has said publicly for years now that only a unified Germany can confirm the eastern border and not the Federal Republic.
Can he guarantee that a united Germany would do this?
No, he can't, because this will be a new government, perhaps with a new chancellor at the end. Nobody knows what the new government will do, but we are absolutely sure that that the great majority of all Germans in East and West will stick to the border as it is today.
Let me ask you a political question. Chancellor Kohl, for whom you work, has been greatly criticized in your country for what the opposition calls browbeating the East Germans and trying to act as though he's chancellor over the United German Republic, or whatever it be called, already. That he is playing a political game, that he's trying to force unification too fast so he can become the father of unification in hopes of winning the election. Why is he trying to move so fast? Why not slow it down a little if it isn't for political ends?
I think nobody can push the process of unification nor slow down, and that's true for the Chancellor too. The only one who is responsible for the process just now are the people in the GDR. What we believe now is that GDR is close to an economic collapse. Look, we have rising figures of emigration. We do expect in February about 100,000 of immigrants. And this is a development GDR can't survive. And therefore everybody is afraid of a forthcoming chaos in the GDR.
Let me ask you two final, very short questions. Are you convinced personally that a unified Germany will have a connection with NATO in the end?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And let me ask you to...
It has to.
It has
to.
Okay, will there be any
Because-
Russian troops left on the eastern side? Is that a possibility?
That's a possibility, but not forever, only for a transitional time, perhaps 2, 3, 4 years, but not forever.
Okay, final question. I want to go back over something you said. You are predicting that Germany will be unified before the end of this year. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay. Horst Telchik, thank you very much for being our guest on Face, and we'll be back with more.
Thank you.
We're dealing with historic change. I seem to be very elated about this.
When cars burn gasoline, they emit poisonous carbon monoxide. The more cars, the more carbon monoxide. But now you can fight it, because a change to a high detergent fuel blended with pure grain ethanol can reduce carbon monoxide emissions by 25% or more. And that helps hold down ozone pollution in our cities. Now that's a breath of fresh air for everyone. ADM, supermarket to the world.
There's a lot of talk about oat bran these days. Some people say it can be very good for you, others aren't sure how good. And then there are those who still want to study the situation. Look, I've been eating Common Sense oat bran for a while. Tastes great. Common Sense has nearly twice as much oat bran as oatmeal. And until somebody gives me one good reason to stop eating this stuff, pass the milk.
It's about time for some common sense.
I should be dead. Last year, as I was driving home, I approached a hill. I saw something more frightening than anything I have ever seen. I tried to get out of its way. It was too late. I had a head-on crash with a 28,000-pound truck. I'm still alive today because of an airbag in my car.
Allstate supports airbags because they save lives and lower insurance costs. You can spend considerable time looking for opportunity, or you can listen to this news about opportunities in Europe. Barriers are falling, attitudes change, banking, telecommunications, infrastructure. But as with other opportunities, acting on this one is as important as recognizing it. Call us, Merrill Lynch. We're bullish on the 90s.
Joining us now from New York, Michael Mandelbaum of the Council on Foreign Relations, and here in Washington, Andrew Nagorski, correspondent for Newsweek magazine, and Michael Elliott, Washington bureau chief of The Economist. Let's go to New York first, and Michael Mandelbaum. Michael, why did Gorbachev cave in on German unification so quickly?
Of all the extraordinary, astounding, unexpected things that have happened in the last year, the Soviet decision to abandon their 40-year-old position that a unified Germany could never be part of NATO and had to be neutral ranks right at the top of the list. It's important to remember that the Soviets have not said that they agree that a unified Germany should be part of NATO. They've simply said that they're willing to discuss the matter. And the reason is that things are so desperate in Moscow. The multiple crises that the Soviet leadership confronts are so serious. Gorbachev and Shevardnadze are spending so much time just trying to hold the country together that they have no energy, no time, no political capital to have any disagreements whatsoever with the West.
He's so willing to show his weakness. It is astonishing, isn't it? That
It really is extraordinary, and it reverses a position that has been central to Soviet foreign policy ever since the beginning of the post-war period. Germany is not just any country for the Soviet Union. It's the most important European country.
All right, let's go to Mike Elliott of The Economist. Why did Margaret Thatcher cave in so quickly? She has been against German reunification just as strongly as Gorbachev.
I think in the end she caved in because she had no allies. I mean, there was no one else, as it were, who could stand with her. And to that extent, everything that Michael said about the Soviet changing position has been extremely important for Mrs. Thatcher, because there clearly was a time when she assumed that there could be some kind of rather peculiar British-Russian position on German reunification. But the fact that she's caved in doesn't mean, one, that she's happy with the prospects. She still isn't. And it doesn't mean, two, that she thinks that reunification will continue at the breakneck pace that we've seen in the last few months. I mean, what the Brits are saying this week is that the 2+4 formula agreed in Ottawa is a chance to introduce a period of calm. And there's this wonderful British phrase.
Do you go along with that?
Well, there's this wonderful phrase that diplomats use, the devil is in the details, they say. And I think what they now see is a period where there will be an opportunity for, among others, the Russians, to spin out the talks rather longer than Horst Teltschik or some of the Germans perhaps would like.
Well, let me ask Andy Nagorski of Newsweek. I was kind of persuaded by what Teltschik said. He said 100,000 East Germans are coming into West Germany this month. That's double the number that came in last month. Can they slow it down with details, or?
I don't think so. You have to look at the fact that it's the 2+4 formula, which means the two Germanys negotiate, and then the four powers get involved, meaning that the two Germanys, in fact, negotiate the unification. And then the four powers deal with the various questions, but I think they're going to be confronted with pretty much a done deal.
Okay, I want to ask you about the difference between the East Germans and the West Germans. I began to get into it with Teltschik, but we didn't spin it out. The West Germans have had these 40 years of democracy and so forth. What about the East Germans? Tell us about them.
The East Germans are different. They, as you pointed out earlier, they did not take any responsibility for the war. In East German mythology, the only Germans responsible for the Third Reich are the ones who lived in West Germany. And the East Germans were always opposed to Nazism for communism. Now this, of course, sets off a great deal of fear and anxiety, particularly in the East, where Poles, for instance, have had a very difficult relationship with the East Germans, who they were told for years, these are the good Germans, and precisely because they were being told this by the communist government, they were convinced that this is a lot of baloney, and then they also had personal dealings with them, tensions on the border, a sense of resentment that they continued a militaristic tradition, a totalitarian tradition, and that's probably one of the single greatest factors about their nervousness, aside from the border issue itself, which is crucial.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, if all of us can. I mean, the idea that there's going to be difficulty in merging these two people who have become different people over 40 years. Michael Mandelbaum in New York, you see a problem there? Personalities or national traits having trouble melding here?
There will be some internal difficulties, but I'm optimistic. I think that the East Germans over time will become much more like the West Germans. And I think the West Germans have proved that they're democratic, peaceful citizens of Europe. The problem is not going to come from internal German affairs. The problem is constructing a security framework in Europe where everybody is satisfied and everybody is reassured. The security framework that we've lived with for 40 years and that has given Europe an unparalleled period of peace is now out the window. It has to be reconstructed, and that's the most important and difficult task.
Well, do you see a possibility? I think you sort of suggested this, that even the Soviets come around and say, okay, we want NATO in there just to keep the stability.
I think Michael puts his finger on both of the essential points. I mean, I think the West Germans have showed themselves to be good Democrats, to be committed to the West, and it's been an extraordinarily successful society. It demands and deserves credit, but the new European structures are going to look an awful lot like old European structures when Europe was a continent of nation states, and Europe as a continent of nation states was not a frightfully stable place between 1870 and 1940. 3 continental wars, terminally, you might say, unstable for millions of young men. So, I mean, it is not scaremongering to say, let's make absolutely sure that the security system that we establish post-unification is one that everyone is happy with. And if that takes time, then time is well spent.
Yeah, time after the unification.
Well, I think in this devising of a security network, and what you have in Europe is the buildup of overlapping institutions, NATO, the European community, and so forth. But in this, it's a question of how you address those security concerns, particularly, I would say, the Eastern Europeans. The Poles are saying, look, our borders are the only ones that the Germans are putting in question. You saw Horst Teltschik say, the Polish and others should not be worried. But But on the other hand, we can't speak for a unified Germany. Yeah. The Poles know that the motivation for this is that Kohl is scared of his right wing and doesn't want to rule things out.
I want to talk about the right wing. There is a viable, I don't want to say large, but viable right wing in Germany that sounds a lot like the Nazis. It's the kind of party that wouldn't get off the ground in the United States. And it still can survive in West Germany. This element is there. Could it grow in East Germany? I know they say the East Germans are likely to vote left when they get to their elections, but what about the sort of latent right-wing strain in East Germany?
I think the right-left categories may not be quite as neat as we'd like them to be. And the West Germans, I think, can argue with justification. Every country has its right-wing fringe. France does, other countries do. And the commitment to democracy is there. And by the way, that's recognized in West and East. But there is a question of, does Germany somehow get a neutralist nationalism going that feeds on, say, the East Germans who come into the system who are less cosmopolitan?
Very quickly, Mike Elliott, last question, very short, I'm sorry. What about the U.S.? Are we stuck on the sidelines now?
It doesn't seem to me that you are. I know that's been the conventional wisdom for the last few months, but, you know, look, in the next 8 days, there are 4 European heads of government in this town. It's a one superpower world. This is the capital of it. I mean, I think whatever Americans have thought in the last few months, Europeans recognize that this is the place that they have to come if they want to cut deals, and they're coming.
Quickly, Michael Mandelbaum, final word.
I absolutely agree with that. When revolutions were breaking out in Eastern Europe, our proper role was to stand on the sidelines and applaud, and not too loudly. When the European security order is being reconstructed, as will happen in the 1990s, our place is in the middle of things, lending some leadership to the process.
Okay, I want to thank you all very much, Michael Mandelbaum, Mike Elliott, Andy Nagorski. We will be back with a final word.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
At the Archer Daniels Midland Company, history has taught us that doing what's good for our country can also be good for business. To help battle air pollution, we pioneered the use of cleaner-burning ethanol fuels. Today, we make enough to reduce carbon monoxide levels by 25% in our nation's most polluted cities. To help keep our landfills from overflowing, we've introduced a special cornstarch, which, when added to plastic, causes it to decompose when buried. We've developed coal-fired co-generating plants that don't contribute to the acid rain problem. And last year, we also improved our nation's balance of trade by over $5 billion through exports and by producing products that reduce our imports. Because at ADM, balancing the needs of our country with the needs of our business is our formula for success.
Our cartoon is by Bill Shore. Psst, burn the diaries. I'm Leslie Stahl. Join us again next Sunday.
This portion of Face the Nation with Leslie Stahl was sponsored by the Archer Daniels Midland Company. ADM, supermarket to the world. Face the Nation with Chief White House Correspondent Leslie Stahl was produced by CBS News, which is solely responsible for the selection of today's guests and topics. This broadcast originated in Washington, D.C.
This week on CBS This Morning, singer and Grammy nominee Richard Marx, Kevin Costner on his new movie Revenge, plus Victoria Principal. This week on CBS This Morning.
This is CBS.
My big sister, Sarah, has always had a great sense of humor, even after her arthritis started getting really painful. But lately, she's been depressed and drinking a lot. She's changed, and I'm worried about her, but I don't know what to do.
Dealing with the stress of a disability isn't easy. If you or someone you love is using alcohol or drugs to cope, ask for help. Call 696-5544, the Mills Peninsula Chemical Dependency Center.
Party Line Dating, 976-6565. Just $2 plus any toll. It's fun. It's live. It's hot and so's the talk. Don't be alone. Call and talk with up to 8 other people live. Call now, 976-6565. That's 976-6565.
How far do you have to go for a fixed-rate second mortgage loan? Not far. It's as close as the Money Store's local toll-free number. 1-800-LOAN-YES. You're just a phone call away from low fixed rates and quick approval. And after closing, you've got 2 weeks to change your mind for any reason. Guaranteed? That's right. Just return the money and the deal is off. At no cost to you. Call from anywhere for details about our money-back guarantee. Dial 1-800-LOAN-YES.
A key to saving the rainforest, starting Wednesday at 6.
Do you have a desire to learn a foreign language but have been discouraged by traditional teaching methods? The facts are that the teaching of foreign languages has not changed much through the ages. Now, thanks to the breakthrough discovery of the late Dr. Paul Pimsleur, head of the prestigious Ohio State University Language Center, you can learn a foreign language at the Foreign Service Institute 1+ level. That's medium to high proficiency in only 30 days, guaranteed. Watch Cybervision's Pimsleur on Trial, how to learn a foreign language in only 30 days. Coming up next.